Jeff Tittel, Director, New Jersey Sierra Club. And we got involved a long time ago in trying to make sure that the polluters pay. And under New Jersey's law, natural resources such as wetlands, streams and rivers, the fisheries belong to the public. They're a resource, and they're held in trust by government for the people. And so when a chemical spill or an oil spill takes away the right of the people to use those resources, not only do you have to clean it up, but you also have to compensate the public for the loss of that resource. So what happened was in 2004, the state of New Jersey sued Exxon Mobil for contamination along the Arthur Kill and in Bayonne and Linden for oil spills. And under that case, not only would they have to clean up their mess, but they would have to restore over 1,500 acres of wetlands, and they would have to compensate the public. And so the total cost to Exxon was $8.9 billion, which included $2.7 billion to restore those tidal wetlands that are really important not only for fisheries and the environment, but also to protect those areas from flooding. And so the case was moving forward. The state of New Jersey had won every motion along the way. And at the beginning of this year, the Christie administration decided to settle the case for $225 million. So an $8.9 billion court case settled for $225 million, which is only 3 cents on the dollar. But it's even worse because in the settlement deal, the state of New Jersey threw on 16 other sites, including the Paulsboro Oil Terminal and a chemical plant in Pedrickstown and a oil depot in Pennington and on, plus over 800 gas stations that have contaminated groundwater. And so we believe that this was a sweetheart deal that let Exxon off the hook. And so we went to court to try to block that settlement. We were not successful in getting into the case and blocking it. And now the Sierra Club, Environment New Jersey, Clean Water Action, and Delaware Riverkeeper have filed a motion to intervene for the purpose of appeal. We believe that the judge erred in his decision in allowing this settlement to go forward, and we believe that there are other technical errors, and that we think we can get the appellate division to overturn the judge's upholding of the settlement. We believe that this is the biggest corporate subsidy in state history, that it violates the public trust doctrine, and it really allows Exxon to save billions of dollars at the expense of the environment and those communities that have been so impacted over the years by all this contamination from oil and everything else. And so we believe very strongly that when the judge allowed the settlement to go forward, there was never any evidence on the 16 sites, other sites, or the 800 gas stations. So based on that alone, it should be tossed out. And under the settlement, Exxon, instead of having to restore those 1,500 acres of wetlands, can just cap them and not restore them, which we believe violates the Spill Act. And on top of that, Morse's Creek, which runs through Linden, they don't have to clean up at all until the plant closes, which could be 100 years from now, since that plant's been there for 100 years. So we believe that this settlement was wrong, that it was really a sellout, and that the judge rubber-stamped this dirty deal. And so we're going to court to try to get the appellate division to overturn the judge on this bad deal for the taxpayers and for the environment.
If the appellate court takes your appeal, will they actually rule on it, or could they rewrite the agreement?
Yes.
Or what happens next?
They could throw the agreement out, which would mean which means then the state would have to go back to court against Exxon, and we would end up getting more money. And that's the part that I find, I don't know if the right word is shameful, but what I really find terrible is that the state of New Jersey is having the Attorney General fight us using taxpayer money. But if we win, the state gets maybe billions more in money. So so we're using taxpayer money to stop the taxpayers from getting more money while letting polluters off the hook from paying their fair share for the mess that they created. So
isn't there some risk, though, that the Attorney General's office has mentioned, were that to happen and they were to lose? Could the state end up with zero as opposed to what they're getting?
I very seriously doubt that based on the Spill Act law, and I very seriously doubt it just based on the fact that there's an administrative consent order that they're also looking away from, requiring a lot of the cleanup stuff already. I think that's just something being put out by the Attorney General to try to justify the unjustifiable, which is this really bad deal.